I wondered what your thoughts were on Nathan Rourke signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars this week, because that guy was, man, what a story this past season.
I knew this was gonna happen 3 games into his last season,
right?
Like,
so, and the argument for the cynics or for people who just love to shit all over everything is, oh, so he's gonna go sit on the bench and whatever, and maybe he just becomes a third string.
It's
or
the
backup.
NFL.
He's also gonna get paid substantially more than he would have, and I think it's a tough balance to strike here. You're in these offices, you're in these meetings, you know what the league runs like here in Canada, but it's a tough balance to strike. What's better for the league? This superstar quarterback that is amazing to watch and you want to see what he's doing, and having him here and having that star power, or he takes that and moves into the NFL and draws attention. Like, look, the Canadian Football League is developing really good players, and not just really good Canadian players, right? Like Canadian quarterbacks.
I'm honestly not sure. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I don't know if it's
hard.
Like, I think that did the CFL do that much to develop Nathan Rourke in the short time they had him? I'm not sure.
Right,
I think he was a really good quarterback coming out of school and into this. Obviously it went well. Like, Rick Campbell is a great coach, and he came into a system that was benefited him greatly, and he's a talented guy that seemed destined to go to the NFL. But I also I would never expect a player with that interest to ever be like, well, I could do great things in the CFL, so I want to grow the league.
17 NFL teams interested
that
he met with.
Like, it's crazy to me that people are pissed. Like, some people are legitimately pissed at him for not being like, I could be a franchise quarterback in the CFL and grow this league. Every every kid football player at 9 years old,
Canadian or American,
friggin' wherever in the world that has a football, like an American football in their hands, wants to play in the NFL.
Yes.
Like, no matter, like
you and I
love the CFL.
Guys, we love the CFL, but
I will defend the CFL. I will promote the CFL, with everything I have, because I do think it's a tremendous league, and I think it's more entertaining than the NFL.
Agreed, man. I do
more
too.
often than not.
I'm with you,
but you have to be realistic.
Yep.
Like, I love my job, but if the NFL came calling, it was like, do you want to be the I don't know. Do you want to be the Detroit Lions director of communications, and we'll quadruple your salary? And you know what? I'm at least going to think about it.
Yep.
And I'm not
with the Lions.
And I'm not far ahead. I'm not far away I'm not that far ahead of the game compared to my competition that Nathan Rourke was as a young quarterback. So, no, of course he's going to the NFL. And it's not like he's, if it doesn't work out for him in the NFL, every single CFL team would have him back whenever, anytime.
We've seen
this.
So,
it's all win for him. I think he has to do that. He'd be nuts not to. And, who knows? Maybe he plays an NFL game soon. Maybe he plays one in 4 years. Maybe he never plays one and ends up back in the CFL. But, man, let the kid give it a go.
Yeah, I think as a fan of the CFL, I don't begrudge CFL fans for being disappointed, right? Like, it sucks that guy, I guess I'm happy he's not going to come in here and play the Red Blacks, right?
No one wants to play a quarterback like that other than that.
But as far as the league goes, you're like, it's a bummer that he's leaving. But there's also this, maybe pride is overstating it, but it's just like, no, there are good football players up here, and the NFL every now and then is going to take notice. And I don't know if we've seen, I don't know what his path will be. Will he be as successful as Jeff Garcia, right, who went down there and became a legit player? Doug Flutie, much later in his career, but still started games. I don't know. We'll see. But I like the idea that all these teams were that interested, and he picked one where he had an opportunity, maybe not to start right away, because who's going to give a CFL quarterback in the NFL an immediate starting job? It's not going to happen.
He could play for 3 other teams before we see him play in the NFL,
right.
Maybe, or maybe never.
He's got to get in there, though, and get noticed somehow. Yeah. And so there is a certain amount of good for you, man. I'm happy for that guy. I am sad for the league.
He's coming. Oh yeah, for sure. You're sad anytime you lose a.
Yeah.
a big player that's a big draw. Like when Devontae Dedmon left the first time, I've never been sad. But also you're so happy for these guys. Like I love that man. So it's like seeing him get that chance. And I mean I'm just as happy that he came back.
Of course.
But like it's weird mixed feelings because you're like, oh shit, like losing a really key part of this league.
But it like
team.
vindicates the league too.
Hell yeah, you're the best at what you do and you're getting the chance in the biggest stage. It would be like if you're in the AHL. And they're like, do you want to go to the NHL? Or like, actually, I really like
I love
Belleville.
Being the leading scorer.
I'm good here.
Binghamton.
I'm making $70K a year.
Right.
And I'm good. Like, it's just not, like, guys are too competitive. If you get to that level of sports, you want to go as far as you possibly can get yourself.
Yeah. And so, love to him, right?
And he's coming off an injury, and he still had that much interest. And he's
just so good.
Yeah, I think he'll do some stuff. But again, I'm not a scout, and I have no idea. So maybe
that's it. Back. Like maybe he just rides out the rest of his career as a backup in the NFL, still making more money.
Worse ways to make money.
Yeah, making more money than he ever would have in the CFL. And or maybe he makes it. Maybe he is Jeff Garcia.
And it does look good either way.
Yep,
a CFL product, a Canadian kid, early on in his career.
Man, you just don't see it. Man.
No.
You don't.
And so I don't know. I think it sucks for the Lions. It's not, it's too bad for the league. But again, it's not the first time. Quarterbacks are always more noticeable when it happens. But like, there's lots of star 100%. Players that leave the league every year. Lots of them to go to the NFL and they come back or they don't. And that's kind of part of the thrill of this stupid league too.
I have no idea when the last time you would have talked to this guy would have been. But what do you think the odds are that Jacksonville coach Henry Burris had anything to do with convincing Nathan Rourke this is the spot for you?
It wouldn't surprise me if Hank talked to him.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you were a
Forget
CFL,
football. If Henry Burris says, "Do you want to come over and hang out?"
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea.
After a 2-minute conversation, I'm like,
I have no idea exactly how
fun, man.
Yeah, I don't know how exactly it works. Like, if all it takes is Jacksonville calling, being like, "Hey, here you go," and
he's like, Hank.
But like, if I'm like, I know Hank fairly well, and I think he's a guy. He's a big promoter of the CFL.
Yeah,
and as a quarterback, and someone who's done well and is now over there coaching. I think, I think Rourke would have been smart to reach out to a guy like Hank. I think there's a good chance Hank reached out to him just to sweeten the pot, and especially if there was that much competition.
Yeah, and it sounds like there was.
Yeah.